So thank you very much for being here today for this open call for women-led deep tech startups. This is the second econ session for the project, and we were very pleased to present to you the major dimensions of this call. Hopefully this will be absolutely clear. You can, as Marilia said, you can post your questions during the session, and at the end of the session we will be answering some of the questions, and if you're not be able to provide all the answers today because some of the questions might be tricky and we have to think about very clear about them, we will provide an answer tomorrow by document that will be uploading on the EPIC website with all answers provided. Thank you very much. So for today's session, we will be presenting an open call, and then my colleague Marilia will be going through the application form with you to explain all the fields that has to be answered. So what is EPIC-X about? So EPIC-X is about addressing the pressing need for the underrepresentation of women in the field of deep tech. This is the major concern of the European Commission, and this is also the major topic that this project is able to provide an answer. So EPIC-X aims to transform the European innovation ecosystem by empowering women's-led deep tech startups. The project will support 20 female leaders in the field of deep tech from 16 countries by giving them supporting mechanisms as a financial support. Third parties represents an opportunity for accelerating their business components. Within the project, we have about 1.2 million euros for this financial support to third parties, meaning we have about 60,000 euros per candidate. The project has several components, especially the acceleration program and also the cooperation scheme. Within these two dimensions of these two components of the project, we have also capacity building and cross-fertilization activities. The project targets 16 countries, Bulgaria, Croatia.
Excuse me. I think your slides are not advancing. We're just seeing the first one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Also, Teresa, it's not in presentation mode. If you could, that's why.
Where should I put it here? Sorry, I'm not used to Zoom. Can you see it now?
No, we see the same, the first slide, and not in presentation mode.
Just a moment.
In the bottom, right, there's the button. Okay, yes, exactly.
This one, okay. Can you see it now?
Now we can see it, yes. Perfect.
And now, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. As I was saying, we have 16 countries engaged in this process: Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Spain. Those countries are targeted because there is innovation divide in those countries. They are considered moderated countries, and therefore this is supporting mechanism to provide support to these female-led deep tech startups. The acceleration program has several components. First of all, has this financial component of 60,000 euros, which is a grant, equity-free grant, meaning there is no need to prove in terms of bills or invoices this financial component. Within this acceleration program, you also have 15 to 20 days of tailored business coaching. I will later on explain what is this about. Then you will also have 10 follow-up sessions to refine strategies. You will also have monthly capacity building sessions focused on key topics. Cross-fertilization through meetings and the mobility scheme and webinars is also part of the program. And then you have a multiplier event for showcasing results, and finally a demo day to investors and networking. The business component, coaching component, part of the program, it's something that it's mandatory, and you have to provide this information within the application. It's specially designed to support women by providing tailored guidance on business development, investment seeking or scaling up, or market entry and leadership. The objective of this component is to empower female entrepreneurs by addressing business challenge or helping them to unlock growth potential. As you can see in the Annex 3, as probably you already went through the application, the Annex 3 provides a self-assessment to identify some strengths, weakness, and challenge that you have to be able to identify yourself. The coaching objectives that they have to be developed are based on the self-assessment with clear goals to be implemented within 15 to 20 days of coaching. This is something that you have to reply within the application, and it's assessment. There is no need to provide the name of the code or the leader or the coaching provider that will be providing such service, but you have to be able to identify the needs. In terms of what is absolutely mandatory within the application, in terms of coaching focus areas, you have to be able to identify when you are defining the needs of your company. You have to define what areas you need to be support. You need to find support in strategic mentoring, either vision, scaling, or strategy. You need either to find technical support or technical guidance, for instance, deep tech challenge, specific ones that you have to work on. You can also be needing specific help on investment and financial advisory, or market access, or go-to-market strategies, or leadership, or organizational development. All this means that although the coaching format has to be flexible and has to be included these 15, 20 days of support, you are absolutely free to choose or to select your coach or the coaching provider, either on our special, our network of EPICS. We will be providing a list soon, very soon, we'll be providing a list of coaching providers that you can select, or external ones. But in the end, what we want with this dimension of the acceleration program is to ensure that your needs, company needs, will be answered, and you will be having a personalized coaching experience. What is important is to mention that what you have to define within the Annex 3, within the application, is self-assessment in terms of coaching focus areas. It's up to you to decide whatever you need, a strategic mentoring or a technical guidance, or investment financial advisory, such as market entry, or leadership, or even legal affairs. You have to take in consideration that you have to reserve a minimum of 20K from the total of 60K funding allocated for business. This is a mandatory component. Again, you are free to choose the coach, but you have to, within an Annex 3, you have to decide which is the area that it will be focused on. In terms of eligibility criteria, since we are targeting companies with a certain maturity, we will be able to, the eligible applicants are those they are SME funded before January 2024, and has to be based in one of these moderate and emerging innovator countries, those lists that I mentioned before, and have at least one woman in the founder or C-level position with at least 25 ownership or decision-making power. Here, I would like to provide some additional guidance. Those applicants, they don't exactly meet the criteria of this 25% of ownership. but indeed, they have a decision-making power within the company, but they don't reach a 25%. They have to provide, they are eligible applicants if they are indeed founded before January 2004, if they are based in the 16 moderate and emerging countries, if they are, of course, if they have women in leadership positions, but don't reach the 25%, we strongly advise you submit your application. But please provide the necessary documents and provide a full narrative explaining the decision-making power within the company. But don't abstain yourself to submit your application. We strongly advise to submit your application, even if you don't reach the 25%, but fully explain in a detailed manner the leadership position and power description within the company. Then, as part of the mandatory eligible criteria, you have to provide a business coaching plan. As I mentioned before, this business coaching plan with a minimum of 20,000 allocated for this component. You have to within the Annex 3, you have to do a self-assessment of needs, strengths, and some fragilities that you have in the company, and you need to provide this annex with a detailed information. Also, you have to prove either you had a market product fit or raised at least a seed round of financing, meaning you have to prove the history and the narrative of the financing within the company. I see already that there is some questions coming from, but I will not be answer. Please write, Adriana, please write the question, then we will be able to raise them at the end of the session. And also, as part of this eligibility criteria, you need not to be under liquidation or financial difficulty. Those are the criteria. In terms of activities that can be found under EPIC X-Call, they are about 4. So you develop deep tech solutions from prototyping, testing to validation scale up. Again, we are talking about companies they have reached a certain level of maturity. And so within this EPIC X-Call, there is an opportunity to develop deep tech solutions and taking this opportunity to going even further. Accelerate business and market entry. It's also part of the activities that can be funded under EPIC X-Call. Build founder skills, participation acceleration sessions, and coaching and follow-up. That's why the business coaching plan, it's also important, has a strategic plan to develop further the founders' skills, because as I mentioned, EPIC X, it's a project with a aim to accelerate the opportunity of female leaders within the 16 countries to go further in their business and market entry. And finally, boost cross-border collaboration and visibility. So there is also an opportunity for you to engage with partners across borders within the 16 countries. As a timeline for this call, so we have launched at the beginning of November. The deadline, it will be January 5th for the final submissions. Then we go through a period between January and the end of February. We will be doing an evaluation period with all this eligibility check and full in-depth evaluation that will be conducted by the consortium, and also evaluators that will be invited. In the beginning of March 6, applicants will be informed of evaluation and selection results, and then the contract signature will be happening also in the mid of March. And the acceleration program will be running for 6 months, meaning from 1st of April until September, last days of September. So this is a 6 months period. So a few tips when you go through the youth survey application, because you do have to submit this application throughout the youth survey. You have to install this application in your computer and also your phone. Don't leave the submission to the last minute. You can upload information as long as you go through and you save the drafts regularly. And then this will prevent data loss in case of sessions or times out. Please prepare your text in a word processor. We are not checking spelling and grammar consistency, but of course we clarity and consistency and coherence, it's also a priority. So please prepare your text in a word first. Check all the required documents. Please make sure that all the annexes are included in the proposal. You have several annexes that you have to upload to prove your eligibility. And once you submit it, please save your application in the form of a PDF and your contribution identification. In terms of frequently asked questions, we do have those frequently asked questions within they are available on the EPIC-X, so you can check some of the questions, as I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation. We will be collecting all the questions here today. Those we will not be able to provide a full answer. And so by tomorrow, you will have a list of frequently asked questions with full answers available on the website. You can find this on the website, along with all the annexes that it is mandatory for the applications, including all the guidelines. Some questions are especially focused on what is the market fit and why it's important for my application, what are the financial support and grant details, what are my obligations if I'm selected, how do I submit my applications, and what documents and materials do I need to submit my application. All these questions, all these answers to these questions are available on the website. If you need any special support, you can always contact by the channel EPIC, email, or even myself. We will be providing the answer as soon as we can. Normally, we are quite quick. So from my side, it's all. So I will give the floor now to Marilia, because she will be presenting the youth survey walkthrough.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I do hope that no one is hearing the construction trucks that are nearby. If so, apologies. I will be sharing my screen so you could see the application. So give me just a second. No, sorry, wrong. I think you need to stop sharing.
Yeah, it's that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I guess you can see my screen, correct? So after you read all so this is the EPIC-X website. So you click here on the open call, you have read all the information, checked all the eligibility criteria, checked the open call guidelines, then you have here a blank application form, so you can see what the form looks like, and then you click on apply here. And now probably I need to share again, right? Because you're not seeing. Give me just a second, sorry. Okay. So great. So we are going through the application form just for you to see what is expected. So you have here the youth survey. So you have here some instructions. and then you click on next. And then here is very much the page to provide the applicant entity information. I'm going just to write dummy information, because then I would like to submit it for you to see what it looks like. So here you have the legal name, the VAT registration number, then the headquarters address. Please make sure that you are registered in one of the eligible countries. For this sake, we are from Portugal. Then the date of legal registration establishment. Please ensure that it was legally founded before January 1st, 2024. So we are going to put January 2022. Then a website. And then we have a series of questions on the eligibility criteria. So in this case, yes, you must be a woman holding a founder or C-level position and maintain a minimum of 25% ownership. There were some questions regarding the 15% ownership, or if this changes throughout the implementation, how it is. These are specific cases. We always recommend that you submit the application nevertheless and provide as much information as possible. And then this will be analyzed. However, the eligibility criteria should be maintained throughout the implementation period. And if there are any changes, you should let the team know as soon as possible. So again, the business coaching plan is mandatory. You need to have either achieved market product fit or have raised at least a round of financing. That's why it's also important to be TRL 6 or above. And it's also very important that if you have been identified in Horizon Europe or Digital Europe program, you provide with information. If you click on yes, you see that you need then to identify the program here. For the sake of it, I'm just going to say no. Then there are a series of legal mandatory annexes. So the legal entity form template, the official supporting documents from your company, resolutions, laws, VAT registration, and then a redacted bank statement, bank letter confirmation. Then the Women Leadership Declaration and description of the leadership structure. It could be an organogram, or it could be also a declaration on the structure of your company. Then the business coaching plan. I believe that Teresa has already mentioned this, but again, you could, I'm not sure if you see the screen if I click here. I don't think you do. So let's ignore that for now. So you need to download the template, fill it in, and then upload again. And then the final annex, the market fit or an investment documents. So please ensure that you fill in all those and submit it, because all those are mandatory. Then you provide with the main contact, the last name, the email, and then the telephone, which is also quite important, and the role, so we can know this will be the person who will be contacted regarding the application. So next is the scope and priorities, and this is also a very important part of the application. There is more information on the open call. In the open call guidelines, so for you to understand better what is a deep tech technological domain, what we are referring to when we refer to industrial sectorial fields of application, the quadruple helix nodes, the barriers. So in this case, we are just going to randomly select just some options. These barriers are important, are compulsory to, here you can select more than one, for example, here and here, but for the gender barriers, you must select just one option. The unbiased mission that Teresa also explained briefly, and that is very much detailed in the open call guidelines. You also need to select one maximum. So let's just, for the sake of it, select the first one. Then the next one is the technical description. So you should provide with a pitch video, 2-minute pitch video, It can be just one person, it can be the whole team, it can be a demonstration, it can be just you talking about your project. It can be whatever you want. Just make sure that is aligned with Epic, the Epic call. It's really showcases your project. That is under 2 minutes or 2 minutes. And that link is does not expire or does not require login, so that the evaluators can have access after the application period. Then these are some of the fields that you should provide more detailed regarding your application. The first one is the relevance to the scope. So you must clearly identify how your project aligns with the deep tech domains that you chose before and the industrial sectorial applications that you chose before, but also aligned with the national smart specialization strategy of your country. Also clarify why you chose the quadruple helix actors before, and how are you planning on engaging them, and how they will benefit from the innovation. And also, how does it address the gender barriers that you chose before? So the application, you should always see it as a whole and explain very well the decisions and the choices that you made. The second question here is related to the unbiased missions. So what is the originality of your project compared to the state of the art, and how does it contribute to addressing the unbiased mission that you identified in the previous section? Here, the needs assessment and business coaching plan, which was also one of the mandatory annexes, should explain also what are your main challenges and opportunities, and how does your proposed coaching plan on addressing them, indicating clearly the needs to your regional context and how you are responding also to the target group needs. And again, this also should be aligned with the budget that we are going to see in the next sections. Since this is a European project, it's very important also that we understand what the European added value of your project is. How do you plan on generating value beyond the national and the local contexts, especially regarding sustainability and transferability or scalability? A few more questions on the impact and market potential. So in this case, we want to know clearly the short, medium, and long-term impacts that your project will generate. If you provide some indicators, that's also great. But also very much the technological, societal, environmental, and economic impact within the regional ecosystem. And again, if you provide some indicators as well, that would be quite relevant. Then in terms of the implementation and capacity, you should also let us know what is the proposed methodology for the project, and what are you planning to do, the work plan, and how does it align again with the project's objectives, with your startup, and also with Epic. Also let us know who are the key team members implementing the project, highlighting, of course, women in leadership roles. And also a brief explanation on how does your proposed budget, which we're going to see in the next section, is appropriate and cost effectiveness for this project. So a small description saying that we planned on spending X amount in equipment because we are planning on buying this, and that to help us achieve this, and that project activity. So align again the work plan, the budget, and explain here why is it cost effective. Why is it cost effective? Then here the budget. We will provide a lump sum of 60K, equity free, but and you need to explain exactly which amount are you planning on spending, and in which category. If you will see here that the total, for example, let's just put some random numbers here. If you put 20,000 here, and exactly, you see here that the total. So whenever you change the numbers, it's going to add up here. Please don't forget that in the subcontracting, you do need to include the 20. So I included more here, but it's 20K for business coaching, ensuring that you provide, that you have all the necessary provisions to cover the 15 to 20 coaching days. And again, that is aligned with the coaching plan. The travel and accommodation related expenses. This must include the 3 travels, the mandatory travels, so the on-site cross-fertilization meeting, a mobility scheme, that a visit to a counterpart in another country, and the participation in the EPIC-X demo day. As a reference, we included 650 for each of those trips, but of course, feel free to add the budget that you think it's relevant, but ensuring also that it's aligned. If you have other travel and accommodation related expenses, do include it here. There was a question about it on the chat. However, please note that these are travels related to the project activities. Then if you need a budget for equipment, you include it here. And then in the other goods, works and services, you also must include the cost related to the co-organization of the multiplier event. This can be online. It doesn't need to be in person, but imagine that you need a Zoom license or that you need a Miro license or something like that. You can include it here, for example. Again, here is in the other section was more for us to understand what if the budget is cost effective or not. And here is more the brief breakdown. For example, you tell us that you are going to spend 5K in licenses. This probably doesn't 500 euros in licenses. That's probably more appropriate. Zoom license, for example. So you explain it here, the rationale behind each cost, so we know, because since this is the full amount, here you provide a bit more detail on exactly what you are planning on spending. Then we have, this is also, since this is a EU project, we do have to include the ethics self-assessment. So we have a very comprehensive list of all the information on the on ethics. So if your activity involves human participants or not, if it includes yes, you will need to let us know if they are volunteers or not, if they are vulnerable individual groups, if they are children minors. Sometimes you see that if, for example, here, if you include, if you choose an option, it might trigger additional questions. For example, this one, are they volunteers? Are the persons unable to give informed consent? Yes or no? So you need to include all the information, and please ensure, like I said, that sometimes it triggers additional questions. Also, a section on human cells, tissues, on the protection of personal data, and animals. So if it involves, if your research or your startup works with animals, and also if you plan on carrying out any activities in third countries or non-EU countries. Finally, a section on environment, health, and safety. I'm not going to go in detail through all the questions, but again, please read it and ensure that you are correct. You are correct in your replies. And then also a section on the artificial intelligence. If again, some of the questions might trigger additional, some of the answers might trigger additional questions. In the end, if there are any other ethical issues that should be taken into consideration, and they were not added here in this very comprehensive list, and then provide a very brief explanation on the dimension of the objectives, the methodology, and the likely impact. So again, combining what you provided as information of the objectives, the work plan, and also the ethical issues that you might see relevant for the project. Then also describe how the issues will be addressed, and again, provide some detail, especially regarding activities performed in non-EU countries, if it's the case. Then for the next and final part is just the declarations, just ensuring that To the best of your knowledge, you did not receive any other EU grant because, as Teresa mentioned, the double funding is not allowed. You confirm that the presentation presented the information presented in the proposal is correct and complete, and that you comply with all the eligibility criteria, and that you are also aware of all the criteria that you need to comply with. Please read the privacy policy, accept it, and then you click on submit. Since I didn't, you see here that you should, so when you click on submit, you should have the 9191 replied. We always suggest that you go through the application one more time, just to ensure everything is correct, that you submitted all the annexes in the correct format, and in the end you should have 9191, the bar all green, and then you click on submit, and you will be given an ID code. We recommend that you save it because for any question that you might have after or any communication, we will be using that ID to identify the application. So that's it. We also have a tutorial video on the website and on our social media doing a walkthrough as I did just now. So feel free to also watch it again or watch it if you have any questions, and also feel free to let us know if you have specific questions on this. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I see that there's a lot of information on the chat, so probably lots of questions on this.